What comes to your mind when you hear of a doctor? A caring person? A loving person? But today, I am going to show you the most cruel man. This man confessed of killing 87 people and have 37 confirmed victims. Let's dive down into the chilling story of Donald Harvey. Donald Harvey might just be the most chilling healthcare worker in history, and I'm about to show you why. Donald Harvey was an American serial killer known for his chilling crimes. He confessed to taking the lives of 87 individuals, with 37 of those cases being confirmed. His deadly actions occurred while he worked as a hospital orderly, spanning from 1970 to 1987. Initially, Harvey claimed he started killing to ease the suffering of patients, mainly those in cardiac care, by smothering them with pillows. But over time, his motives darkened and he began to derive satisfaction from the act, calling himself an angel of death. At the time of his passing, he was serving 28 life sentences at the Toledo Correctional Institution in Ohio, having pled guilty to avoid the death penalty. Donald Harvey was born on April 15, 1952, in Hamilton, Ohio, as the eldest of 3 children to Ray and Goldie Harvey. He grew up in the small Appalachian town of Boonville, Kentucky, where his family struggled as tobacco farmers and were active in the local Baptist church. From the age of 5 until 18, Harvey endured sexual abuse by both an uncle and a neighbor, a trauma he kept hidden from everyone except his sister, and only after the abuse had stopped. Harvey left school in the 9th grade, but later obtained his GED through a correspondence course in 1968. After a burglary arrest in March 1971, he joined the United States Air Force. However, he was discharged just 9 months later following 2 suicide attempts and subsequent mental breakdowns. It was during this turbulent period that Harvey came to terms with his sexuality. Harvey began his hospital career at 18, working as an orderly at Marymount Hospital in London, Kentucky. During his 10-month stint there, he later confessed to killing at least 12 patients. One of his early murders even occurred in the presence of a 12-year-old boy named Danny George. Harvey claimed that he initially acted out of empathy for terminally ill patients, wanting to ease their suffering. However, he admitted that many of his killings were driven by anger. His victims spanned various ages, races, and backgrounds, though they all shared one commonality: they were cardiac patients. The true scope of Harvey's crimes may never be fully uncovered, as many went undetected for years. He used a wide array of methods, making his actions difficult to trace. His arsenal included arsenic, cyanide, insulin, suffocation, various poisons, morphine, turning off ventilators, contaminating fluids with hepatitis B or HIV, resulting in illness rather than death, and even using a coat hanger to puncture a catheter, leading to fatal infections. Among his preferred methods, cyanide and arsenic were used most frequently, often delivered through food or injections. Harvey carried out the majority of his killings at Marymount Hospital, the Cincinnati VA Medical Hospital, and Drake Memorial Hospital in Cincinnati, while working as an orderly and later as an autopsy assistant. But Harvey's deadly acts weren't limited to hospital patients. Suspecting his partner Carl Hohler of infidelity, he poisoned Hohler's food with arsenic, making him too ill to leave their home. He targeted neighbors as well, poisoning one, Diane Alexander, with hepatitis serum, and fatally poisoning another, Helen Metzger, with arsenic in her pie. He even killed Hohler's father, Henry, using arsenic. Donald Harvey believed he was acting as an angel when he killed terminally ill patients at Drake Hospital in the 1980s. Harvey was a nurse's aide and had unlimited access, according to Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters. He was ultimately convicted of 37 murders, although his lawyer claimed Harvey confessed to 57. My one grandmother used to tell me every hair on your head's counted, and when it's time to fall out, it'll fall out. You're gone. It's over with, Harvey once said. Harvey faced a tumultuous childhood, suffering abuse and being ostracized by peers at school. Growing up gay during a time when it was far from accepted, he endured a deep sense of isolation and powerlessness throughout his life. Joe Dieters, who served as an assistant prosecutor in Harvey's case, described how Harvey discreetly administered lethal doses by filling feeding tubes with deadly chemicals. In a chilling ritual described in his lawyer's book, Harvey would place a skull beside a burning candle, read a list of names, and gaze into the flickering flame, seeking guidance on who his next victim would be. "I had to have help from somewhere," Harvey once admitted, hinting at the darkness that influenced his actions. Before his eventual confession, the authorities had classified the mysterious deaths as accidental, unaware of the sinister force behind them. After keeping his deadly secret for 17 years, Donald Harvey made a critical mistake in March 1987. The suspicious death of John Powell, who had been on life support for months following a motorcycle accident, led to an autopsy that uncovered high levels of cyanide in his body. This discovery placed Harvey under scrutiny, especially after investigators learned he had previously been dismissed from the Cincinnati VA hospital for stealing body parts for occult practices. Unlike today, orderlies at that time often faced less rigorous background checks than doctors or nurses. When questioned, Harvey admitted to killing Powell with cyanide, claiming he did so as a form of euthanasia. Pat Menarson, a news anchor at Cincinnati's WCPO-TV, doubted that Harvey's first murder was Powell's, given his long history in patient care. During his broadcast on the night of Harvey's arrest, Menarson asked if other deaths could be linked to Harvey. Soon after, it emerged that several nurses at Drake Memorial Hospital had previously noticed a surge in deaths while Harvey was employed there, and had raised concerns with hospital administrators, who dismissed their warnings and instructed them to stay silent. Fearing Harvey might escape justice, the nurses contacted Menarson, revealing evidence that Harvey was likely responsible for at least 10 more deaths. Over the next few months, Menarson conducted a thorough investigation, uncovering links between Harvey and at least 24 suspicious deaths over a span of 4 years. Part of Harvey's ability to evade detection stemmed from his assignment to a part of the hospital where patient deaths were more common, allowing him to hide his crimes in plain sight. When Donald Harvey's court-appointed lawyer, Bill Whalen, learned about the findings from Pat Menarson's investigation, he questioned Harvey directly about the extent of his killings. Harvey estimated that he had killed up to 70 people. Aware that prosecutors could pursue the death penalty if they connected Harvey to multiple murders, Whalen proposed a plea deal. In exchange for taking the death penalty off the table, Harvey would plead guilty and accept a life sentence without the possibility of parole, while confessing to all his crimes. The prosecutors accepted this arrangement. During an exhaustive session, Harvey admitted to 24 murders. In August 1987, Harvey officially pled guilty to 24 counts of first-degree murder and received 3 concurrent life sentences, as per the plea deal. However, the agreement allowed prosecutors the option to seek the death penalty if further murders were uncovered. In November of that year, Harvey pled guilty in Laurel County Circuit Court to the murders of 9 patients at Marymount Hospital in the 1970s, receiving an additional sentence of life plus 20 years to be served concurrently with his Ohio sentence. Ultimately, Harvey admitted responsibility for 37 murders, but claimed that his total number of victims might be as high as 50. He was transferred to the Ohio prison system on October 26, 1987. On March 28, 2017, Donald Harvey was discovered in his prison cell, severely beaten. He succumbed to his injuries 2 days later, on March 30, 2017. On May 3, 2019, authorities charged fellow inmate James Elliott with aggravated murder and additional charges connected to Harvey's death. Later that year, in September 2019, Elliott pled guilty to killing Harvey and received a sentence of 25 years to life in prison. Initially, the court ordered this sentence to run consecutively with his existing sentences, but it was later amended to run concurrently, allowing Elliott to be eligible for parole in 2046, when he will be 71 years old.